2 words that can send any killer main running back to the hole that they crawled out of and hiding for the rest of their life. Those words? Dead hard. And it's no secret that some killer mains like to take their hatred of Dead Hard a little bit too far. Case in point is the person that we're going to be talking about today, who believed that the survivor they went up against actually was a cheater and used a double Dead Hard, and saw fit to just abuse them in the worst ways humanly possible. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and without much further ado, let's get into it. So if you're familiar with the channel by now, then you'll know that the way I normally do these is that you guys will send me toxic encounters that you have had. I will check out the person, and then I will make a video about it if I see fit. And this TTV that we're going to be talking about today was no different. Somebody sent me their name, said that they had some screenshots of an interaction that a friend of theirs had had with him, and that the conversations their friend had had were particularly gnarly. So while I was waiting for these screenshots, I decided to look into the TTV. And I found his stream and found GG's and good luck, have fun in the pregame chat and just overall good vibes. They even went as far as to call somebody out who was racist in one of the endgame chats that they had encountered on their Steam profile. So all in all, you seem like a pretty decent guy. Case closed, I guess. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
So let me break.
But then the screenshots started to come through and it was pretty bad. Now, just for a little bit of context before I go into what was said, this was an offline game, which means that I have no footage of what actually happened in the game between the person called L and the TTV themselves. So unfortunately, the only thing we have to go off is the screenshots that I was sent. The basic premise is that this TTV thought that L was a cheater and had a double Dead Hard available, and we'll talk about what that could have been in a little bit. But let's first of all start with what initiated the conversation between them. So the first message sent between them was actually from L and not the TTV, who said, "You have a Twitch and you're that bad. Anyways, thanks for another SS." I don't know what that means. "Another killer that got looped for 3 gens." Now, straight off the bat, we can say that this is just not helpful. You know, the last thing you want when you've lost a game, whether you're playing as killer or survivor, is somebody being there to kind of rub it in your face. And then the TTV responds by saying that he's a loser, he has double Dead Hard, and then uses what I can only assume is a number of colorful words that the endgame chat blocked out. I'll leave it up to your imagination. You can decide what he said. And normally, we would hope that that's where it would end. That a couple of people have an argument in the endgame chat, and then they kind of go on about their day. They go and find somebody new to harass in the game of Dead by Daylight, but unfortunately, this was not the case this time. The TTV then decided to go onto L's Steam profile and leave a comment, which read, "This colossal loser is a cheater and used double Dead Hard. Don't play with this high BMI, low IQ lobotomite." Which, in case anybody is confused by the wording, is basically calling them a fat idiot. And the truly sad part about that is that this is the nicest thing this TTV says to this person throughout this whole interaction. I'm not kidding. L then replies and says, "Moron below is mad he got looped for 3 gens and has never heard of Off the Record." Because let's talk about that for a second, this double Dead Hard accusation. To me, it just speaks to a lack of knowledge about the game. There are multiple things now that survivors can use that cause more endurance hits than just Dead Hard. There's Off the Record, like this person says, but there's also Soul Guard, Borrowed Time, Metal of Man, all of these different things. You can even use a Styptic on a med kit to gain an extra endurance hit. So maybe not a cheater, maybe just a misunderstanding, and maybe this is where the conversation would end. Maybe this is where it should end. One person has explained himself, the other person could be like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't realize. That's my mistake. I thought you were a cheater. I get kind of caught with cheaters, Nope. No, Okay, so the next message reads, "Sped," blocked words, "won't pull up. I live in," and then he gives his name and his address. Don't do this on a public forum. Just a little PSA. I don't feel like I should have to explain this, but don't give out where you live and what your name is on a public forum, especially if you're in an argument with somebody. "I'm willing to knock your teeth down your throat, you colossal waste of oxygen of molecules." I love that this TTV has attended GCSE chemistry and is just throwing out the insults, layering his unkind words with some intelligence in there, just a little sprinkling of it. We love to see it. You keep going. "Literally drop any form of social media and I will pull up anywhere in," gives his place again, "and put you down like the degenerate dog you are." What I say? "Coward Sped probably sucking his dad. I know I'd make this useless loser." I assume that says my cum rag. One bit of credit I will give this TTV is that he certainly uses all of the colors of the rainbow to make up his insults. And L replies, grown man pushing 40 with pigtails talking to himself below. And again, you would hope that this is where it ends. But unfortunately, we move on to some messages on Steam between them. Now, I want to make two things clear before we move on to these messages. One, I'm not fully sure when everything happens in the timeline. I was basically just sent a folder of screenshots to look through, and because this person was actually the friend of L, and I haven't actually spoken to L or the TTV themselves, I don't know if like these are kind of mixed in together, like if while they were talking on Steam, they were also leaving comments on each other's profiles, etc., etc. I've just kind of taken what I think is the order of events, but it's just something to bear in mind that I may have mixed the order up a little bit somewhere along the line. And the second thing I want to mention is a trigger warning, because the messages between these two cover everything from racism to ableism to sexism to homophobia to multiple other things, all of which are unsavory and not at all kind. And I want to make sure that you guys put your health first. So if you think that anything that I'm about to read will trigger you, please shut down the video and go and do something that makes you happy. Your health is more important than watching this video. Just wanted to make that clear. With that being said, let's have a look at these, shall we? So L starts these Steam messages by saying, man, your ass. Did you enjoy getting looped for 3 gens, you fat... that word? To which the TTV replies with a very lovely named Discord server, presumably saying to join it so that they can jump on voice chat together and just hurl more obscenities. And then there's a bunch of other words, which I'm not going to read. I'm just going to comment that this person is very obviously racist, which is a bit ironic, by the way, considering that earlier on we saw a screenshot of them calling somebody else out for being racist, but then this person uses the exact same words. And L makes the very smart decision to join the Discord. Again, just a little PSA, if somebody you're in an argument with says, hey, come and join the server, don't fucking join the server. Let it end. Just move on. Now, I was only sent a brief snapshot of the conversation that they had on Discord. As I understand it, they spoke on voice chat, and then they also sent messages to each other. And the messages that I received are on the screen, most of which has been blocked out by Discord's love hearts, which is quite nice to see. In between all of that hatred and vitriol, you get some lovely red hearts. Isn't that cute? What's really scary about this is that all of these screenshots came from L. They were sent to L's friend, who then sent them to me. So this is what L was okay with me seeing. It makes you think, what did they not want me to see? What was said that they kept under wraps? And the TTV also went on, in some capacity, again, I don't know how this happened, but they went on to also throw some hatred at one of L's friends in Discord, somebody by the name of Mommy. And again, just going to leave these words on screen. Not going to read any of them out. And before anybody is like, oh, look at him, he's a snowflake, you don't even want to read these words. No, these words will get me banned on YouTube. All right, so, aside from just not wanting these horrible words to leave my mouth, I also would like to keep making videos. I feel like those are fair reasons, personally. But yeah, just a whole lot of really horrible, shitty messages sent to both the person they played against and this person's friends. And I want to reiterate, by the way, that all of this happened, all of these words were said because he thought that he had used a double dead hard in a game of Dead by Daylight. And before we kind of, talk about that, I do want to return to that initial endgame chat message that L sent, because it is a little bit of a gripe of mine that I just want to address here. I make a lot of toxic TTV videos on my channel, which means that a lot of people will send me their interactions that they have with people who they think are toxic. And something that happens far too often when I start researching the TTV in question is that I will find out that the person who sent me the video was actually the one who went and intentionally antagonized the TTV to get a reaction out of them. It's like people seem to enjoy pissing off streamers. It's like a little funny thing that people do. I even see people talking about it in my comments, saying things like, oh, but it's so funny to annoy a TTV. Why? Why is it funny to annoy a streamer? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. You've got these people who go out of their way to annoy somebody who's streaming, and then once that's happened, they take the footage and they either send it to people like me or Spookajukes in the hopes that they will make a video, or, and this is even worse, they make a video themselves put it out on YouTube without any attempt to block the identity of the person in question, which just results in a negative image being presented of that TTV for no reason. It's one of the main reasons why I do my research when I make these videos, because the worst thing you can do is misrepresent somebody. And again, I have to ask why you do it. I don't get it. Like, do you think it makes you funny? Do you think it makes you cool to like just try and antagonize Twitch streamers? Because it doesn't. And going back to today's video and the encounter we're talking about, I have no more respect for L than I do for the TTV, to be honest. Admittedly, L didn't say as many horrible things. I mean, they may have, actually. There's clearly some information that there's left out, so maybe they did, I don't know. But they weren't exactly helpful to the situation. They were still sending really horrible things, and they instigated the fight in the endgame chat anyway. So from my point of view, these two are just as bad as each other. And the fact that L continuously gave this person room and abilities to send these messages and was kind of egging them on, it makes you as bad as these people if you are stooping to their level in this way. Now, having said all that, I do have to admit that this TTV did turn out to be a pretty shitty person. Looking through their Steam profile, they have had multiple arguments with other people, which haven't gotten this bad, presumably because other people can see the messages, but they're still pretty gnarly. Here's one example of them having an argument with somebody. And also, if you look in their bio, it reads, "Leave a comment because you're a salty little sped. If you cheat at DBD, just end your pathetic existence." So one, that may kind of explain why they were so angry about the double dead hard. It doesn't excuse it. Doesn't make what they said right, but explains it, I guess. And two, I wanted to return to this word sped because it pops up a couple of times in the conversation between the TTV and L. And I personally didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it meant. So I had to Google it, and I wanted to explain it for you guys just in case anybody out there is as confused as me. Basically, sped is a derogatory term for people with special educational needs. It is in the same realm as the R word and other insults that are used to insinuate that somebody is mentally disabled and is therefore a worse person for it. And on top of all of that, this TTV also has a Nazi symbol on their Steam profile. Now, they didn't post it. I'll admit, somebody else left it on their profile as a comment. But I do know that this TTV knows how to delete comments because he said he's done it. And he's also been in his comments since this was posted. It was almost a month ago now, and it's still there. I don't feel like I need to explain why that's a red flag. To be honest, I feel like we're all on the same page there. So I'm just going to, just again reiterate, this guy is a pretty shitty person. But even so, there is nothing to gain from these interactions, which leads me on to the two takeaways that I want to leave you guys with for this video. The first takeaway is if you encounter somebody like this, whether they're a TTV or not, just ignore them. Report them if you see fit, and then move on with your day and just leave them alone. It's a lot simpler, it's a lot better for you, and you'll have a happier day because of it. The second takeaway, and this is actually for any streamer watching this video specifically, ignore trolls. If anybody comes into the endgame chat or even your chat and says you're bad or tries to get a rise out of you, just like we saw L do, just ignore them. The rise is exactly what they want from you, so in responding to it, you're just giving them what they want. You're letting them win, essentially. Now, I do know that there has been a rise in people recently who have been trying to out-troll the trolls. And, this is kind of made even worse by the fact that that kind of content online is so popular at the moment. People will try and clap back at somebody who tries to give them shit. And then if they beat them, then they will upload it onto something like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and everybody will kind of laugh at that troll, and then they'll get thousands of views. And me, myself, I've done it. My most viewed video on TikTok is actually me clapping back at somebody who is biphobic and homophobic. So I'll be the first to admit I'm a hypocrite for saying this, but the best thing you can do is just to kill them with kindness. If somebody is coming to try and get a rise out of you, if somebody wants to annoy you or make you mad, then just smiling, saying GG, giving them compliments is the best way to annoy that troll. As soon as you reply with the negative energy that they are giving out, they've won. That's exactly what they want. So it's better just to not give them that and either ignore them or, just kill them with kindness and then move on with your day. Or you can ignore both of those takeaways and do whatever you want. That's completely up to you as well. Before we end today's video, before I leave you guys, I have something a little bit different that I want to do. One of the most common requests I get on this channel is for me to cover more positive and wholesome streamers. And I actually tried to do this a few months ago by having a whole video dedicated to shouting out people who were positive influences in the community. And I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you want to go and check it out. But the issue with those videos is I've always had a problem with making a full video out of them because it's much harder to find grandiose acts of wholesomeness that can fill an entire video than it is to find grandiose acts of toxicity, to put it bluntly. So I had a new idea. What I want to do is at the end of all of my toxic TTV videos, I want to shout out 3 streamers who I think are a really cool and positive influence in the community. People who we can go and show some love to and leave the video on a positive note with a positive outcome rather than, you know, just looking at toxicity and then going about our days. So that's what we are going to do right now. And to start with, I'm going to be talking about 3 streamers who I personally choose to watch after watching hours and hours of people being horrible to each other. These are the people who I go to put a smile on my face again. So the first shout out goes to Nick Screams. Now, Nick has created a whole stream team called the Kindness Collective, which incidentally I am actually a part of. And the whole goal of that team is to spread kindness in the Twitch community. And Nick herself is the epitome of wholesomeness. She loves the game, she loves her community, and she's always got a smile on her face and is willing to give anybody the time of day and make them smile if they need it. She's an absolute sweetheart, and I'm going to show a clip here so you get a vibe of her content if you want to go and check her out.
They didn't go in the basement, did they? Just checking. Just checking. Are you kidding? Are they absolutely kidding?
The second person is JG Dark. Now, if you are not familiar with Jay's content, let me tell you, you are missing out. This man cosplays as the killers that he's playing as, but is always there in the endgame chat with GGs and good vibes, and, like me, is actually dedicated to getting rid of all of the negative people in the community. Now, the clip I'm about to show you is kind of weird, and you might be a little bit confused, but it was the best thing that I could find to basically sum up the kind of thing that you can expect if you go and watch him. So enjoy. And the third and final streamer for today is Vizzy. Vizzy is another cosplay streamer who has done amazing looks as Trickster and Zarina, and to be honest, she never misses when she pulls out a cosplay. If you're into that kind of stuff, she's definitely somebody you should check out, and to be honest, she's just a really positive member of the community, always there for the good vibes and a good time. And here's a clip so you can get a vibe of what she's all about.
She's gonna throw. No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. Ah! Nice, I hold her. She was holdable. She is holdable.
And all the links to these 3 streamers are going to be in the description. I ask that you go and just follow them. Give them some love. Go and show them some kindness. And maybe we can come out of these toxic TTV videos with something positive rather than just always looking at the negativity of it. And let me know what you think of this format. Do you like it? Do you want to see more of it? Do you have any wholesome streamers who would like me to shout out? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you if you would like this to be a more permanent thing in the videos going forward. And with that, I will be saying goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you did like this video, leave me a like. Let me know in the comments what you think about these people. And remember, this is not an opportunity for you guys to go and send hate to the people involved. This is just analysis of behavior, knowing what not to do and how not to behave as a nice human being. And please do not go and find them or send harassment their way. It only reflects poorly on me, to be honest. So just, you know, just don't. But for now, guys, I love you all. Go out there and spread some kindness. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you.